Hey, Meg. God bless you. How are you, beautiful? I know how we do it just to show. Thank you, Floss the Boss. Sheli Flossie say happy birthday.
Thanks, Floss.
Good. Good evening and welcome to the Poetry of Justice show with JackieRay Phillips on YikesRadio.com and AccelerateRadio.net. Now, you know, here on the Poetry of Justice show, this is where social consciousness meets the arts. And what we do is we select topics that spark the interest and awareness of social diversity, ranging from arts, entertainment, and social justice at large, leaving our listeners thinking and saying, Yikes Radio!
Listening for 8 minutes a day will change your life forever.
Hey guys,
YikesRadio.com.
I love it. That's my mentor's voice, the Mr. Kevin Nash, guys. Those are his sultry sounds, guys. So, you know, I love and I must give honor, homage, and respect to the Mr. Kevin Nash. Were it not for his ownership of this proprietorship here at Accelerated Radio and Yikes Radio and his dream and what he does, it would make it impossible for me and Lori G to do what we so love to do here on the Poetry of Justice show. And so now it's time for me to start giving some shout outs to some sponsorships. And so what I want to do is give a shout out to my amazing sister, woo, Miss Lori Ray Fisher of JG Productions and Entertainment Company, also known as, you guys guessed it, the Benefactor. Woo! And then I'm also going to give a shout out to Mr. Baron Stevenson, Big Floss the Boss. Flossie's an avid listener, and I want to give Floss a big shout out. Woo! As well as to our other radio constituent, Tweed Cadillac, baby, 93.3 FM, the low rider at their finest. And then I'm going to give a shout out to a partnership and collaboration that you can catch me on each and every Tuesday night live with JackieRay and the fabulous G. Lou. So you want to check that out, everybody. And guys, it don't stop there. You got to give love and respect to one of the ladies who we're going to be honoring, the lady we're going to be honoring tonight, Miss Sheli C of the chat, and her continued support of the show and what we do. Sheli is a monetary donor too, so I just want to put that out there so she too make sure that we keep this engine rolling and going around. And then we got to talk to G Babies, and that's GBABBIES Catering, guys. And that's my nephew and my niece. That's their new company. So if you guys need some catering, at least do me a favor and check them out on Instagram. Again, yes, G Babies Catering, GBABBIES.catering. And I ain't gonna stop, but I promise this is going to be the last two. And I'm going to give a shout out to WNPJ Steelworks, ladies and gentlemen, and APS Muscle Cars. Got something to tell you about APS Muscle Cars. There's been some expansions over there. So at the end of the day, guys, we've got a high-end vehicle storage and custom building engines, cars. It depends on what you're looking for. But check it out. I want you to go to the website, www.apsmusclecars.com. You want to check out Mimo. Take a look at the inventory. Take a look at the kind of stuff this guy's doing over here. And again, you know, particularly if you got some pretty nice lowriders or some any other type of cars that you might want to have stored safely, or you can kind of feel free to do what you need to do because you got too much at your house with toys. You want to check him out. Mimo, M-E-M-O, APS Muscle Cars. Happy birthday, Sheli C. How are you tonight?
I'm great. Thank you. Just it's a blessing to be here. Every birthday that I have, I'm very excited about being here because, man, it's getting crazy with all this COVID and stuff. But it's a blessing, and I give all thanks to the mighty God. Thank you.
Amen. 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 So we've got an amazing panel tonight. So, Sheli, I thank you again for all of your support of the show and what we do here at the Poetry of Justice show, because we get to do so much. That's the cool thing about it. We get to do arts, we get to do entertainment, we get to talk about social issues, we get to talk about economic issues, we get to talk about employment issues. Sheli is
It just
it
goes deeper than that. You don't even need to thank me because it goes deeper than that. It goes through years and years of friendship. So thank you so much. I am just excited to be a part of your dream. It started small and now your dream is here. And I just love to support my friends, real friends, through any of their dreams. And that is why I'm excited to be here. I will always support you. You know that it goes deeper than that. We go way deep. Diamond in the back, sunroof top, all that.
That's why I love this clown so much. Lori G, how you doing tonight, benefactor? You up there off the choir. Why you showing out that you got Crystal here tonight?
I'm like working the behind the scenes technology here, but I think we're pretty set to go. But I am so happy and honored, guys, that we have our returning guest, friend of the family, Miss Chris Fisher, my sister-in-law, that joined us to celebrate Sheli's birthday. So thank you, Chris. And we have a new panelist who is dropping in to say hello to us, and that's Miss Crystal, who she and I work together. So I want to introduce everyone to Crystal, and Crystal, say hello to all of our listeners.
Crystal, you're on mute. You're going to have to come off mute, baby.
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Glad to be here. Thanks for the invite, Lori. Can't wait to check out the show today.
Woo, all right. Crystal's in the house, Sheli C. We got to give a proper introduction, Miss Sheli C.
We do?
Yeah. Depends on what you done had in that little cup you got going on down there now.
Oh, yes. We all have to do
it. You got
it.
to share that.
Whether it's Kool-Aid, apple juice, bubbly, gin and juice, whatever you want to call it, I hope that everybody has their favorite drink. That's my birthday wish, that everybody has their favorite drink, even if it's lemon and water. I just want.
That's right.
And guys, I also want to say hi to two of our Zoom room listeners. We have Miss Jackie Fisher, my mother-in-law, Nana, listening to us. But we also have a brand new listener, and that's Miss Virginia Ross has joined us. Virginia and I also work together. So we're glad to have you, Virginia. So we're cool. Oh, and we got Mr. John Pepper. Hey! Welcome to the birthday party.
Thank you.
Welcome to the party.
Welcome to the birthday party.
Whose birthday is it?
It's me.
Happy birthday.
Sheli C.
Thank you. Like I said, it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
It is a blessing. God is with us.
Yo, you know what? I didn't even know that was Sheli.
What you trying to say, Tap?
What?
I'm joking.
You know, listen.
I'm joking.
I'm saying something very nice. You look awesome. I love the braids, and you look totally different. Wow.
Yeah, well, you know how we do it. We
Amazing.
have different looks. We have fashion. You know how we women of color do it. We have something different going on every single time. That's what I love about women of color. We can do braids. We can do natural hair. We can rock a weave. We can rock a wig. We can rock nothing. We can go bald, and we still are beautiful. So that's what I love about being a woman of color. So thank you, Tap. I appreciate that.
How old are you?
Now, come on now, you know.
You never ask a woman how old she is, but you know what I'm saying.
You're old enough to drink, right?
Look, red cup. But you know what, Tap?
Red Solo cup.
You know what, Tap? I'm so happy to be here. It really doesn't even matter for me to tell what my age is. I am 53 years young on August the 9th.
August 9th.
Yes.
It's the actual D.O.B.
Yep.
Happy birthday, Sheli.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, welcome, baby girl. So we have done some awesome introductions. I'm sorry, Lori G. Go ahead, love.
Oh, I was just going to welcome Cheryl to our Zoom room. He's all the way from Florida checking us out. As we know, Mr. Tapper is from New York. So Sheli, You are partying worldwide right now.
Oh my God, worldwide, Sheli C.
How do young people say, hey?
Hey, 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 hey. As Miko and John tell, they be, hey. Like, whoa,
Absolutely.
whoa. Terry Lampkin says, happy birthday, Sheli C from Facebook, as well as Meg. We got Big
Thank
Floss
you,
in the
Meg
house,
and
so
Terry.
everybody's saying, hey, Eric and Mr. Owen. So we're good. We're good.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you all. I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Well, anyway, Miss Sheli C, I know, well, maybe you should let our listeners know and our newcomers, and thank everybody for being with us tonight. Maybe you want to talk about your role with the ladies of the chat, because you kind of have a new moniker, if you will, like your expertise as our ladies of the chat. And because I'm saying we can go start there so we can like jump in the ocean of the show, you know what I mean? So.
Yes, I kind of took on this new role in being one of the ladies of the chat, and I'm always keeping everybody abreast on the celebrity gossip and celebrity news, and it's become big and fun to do. I mean, we all look forward to it because there's so many twists and turns when it comes to celebrities. Of course, there's the truth, and then there's everybody's opinion, and there's theories behind them. And so it's a lot of fun to me to play kind of devil's advocate with what we really think. And everybody has different opinions, and I love that because everybody brings their own spin to it or what they believe to our conversations about celebrities. And even Nana had fun with one of the ones that I brought to one of the shows. So I know she had had some input for it. So a lot of times we look forward to sharing our opinions, and sometimes we may not ever know the truth, but sometimes there's theories out there that we can throw spins on, and we kind of have fun with it. So yes, celebrity news and gossip is fun.
Well, I always have a good time doing it. What about you, Lori?
I have a great time. Great time.
So Sheli C, I know you have some updates for us tonight. Where do you want to begin? I know I have some fun party stuff. So once more people kind of get in and a little more wine sipping or whatever people's little fancies are, we'll get into some of our nice fun games. But for now, I know you wanted to give us some updates. So take the floor, my love.
Okay, so one of the things I did want to say is, sometimes people struggle with gossip or whatever it is that's out there on celebrities, but a lot of times celebrities do put their information out there, I think, sometimes to boost their careers. So normally, I just want to put this out there that I'm not the type of person that likes to gossip about everybody's personal life, but sometimes when they put their news out there, we wonder, right? We're intrigued. We have our own theories. We become intrigued by what happened and how things, unfold and how we apply it to our own personal life. So I think celebrity gossip is a little bit different than gossiping about other people. So I don't want that to get misconstrued. And I also want to put a legal disclaimer out there that we don't necessarily say that the things that we talk about are true, but we do find information from reliable sources that are on social media, and then we sometimes add our own opinions. So I wanted to make sure that I put that out there, that some of these things could be true, and most of the time it's stuff that we have gotten off of maybe TMZ or other reliable media sources, and I'm sure that a lot of you have heard some of these things. So one of the things I wanted to update you on, first of all, I want to ask you guys, especially the panelists, and I would like to know, what is going on with Kanye West? What is going on?
Wow.
Now, Kanye is ill, so cut him a little slack.
Yeah, we can't talk about it, y'all.
And you know what? I understand that. I'm not really talking about that, but I want to shed some light on that there are people who have, who struggle with, and his wife said this, struggle with, being bipolar. And
yes.
She actually, these are actually her words, and she put them out there that, she didn't want to put his business out there, but because he was acting so erratic, that she wanted to make sure that people understood the illness, and that it is, people do struggle with bipolarism. I mean, and especially with this pandemic, people are having a lot of issues. I mean, even at work, I'm finding that people are having issues with being isolated or being at home. So, I would have to say most of the time he's a pretty cool dude, and he has his episodes. And I think that it's important, and I'm not making light of it. I think it's important that we shed light that there are people who suffer with that. And it's important that people understand that it doesn't mean a person is crazy. It doesn't mean that they're, mentally out of it, but we all have issues. I mean, I can tell you I have mood swings. Shoot, I think everybody does. I mean, hormonally, women hormonally, we struggle with certain things, and sometimes, yes, I might be a little grouchy and I might snap back, but hey, we all suffer from something, and I don't think it's anything to be. And I shed light with Kanye because I think that it's important that we do not ignore that it's important that everybody has probably come across someone who has struggled with this. So I want to say good luck to Kim and Kanye, and my blessings to however their outcome comes. I just hope things get better for them both. The next thing I wanted to talk about was that's huge right now, and it's kind of in my arena of what I do professionally, and that's Ellen DeGeneres. And
what?
Yes, have you guys heard about that?
No, what's up with Ellen DeGeneres?
There is an investigation going on her show because there's some allegations of a toxic, hostile work environment. And for what I understand, it's been going on for years. And not only is her employees complaining about it, but there are also some celebrities who are not.
No way.
Yeah.
Sheli, you are so dramatic, I swear.
Yes, I'm like, oh my God. So what do you guys think of the fact that she is a person that on her show, she promotes love and peace and showing kindness to others when she has more than 36 employees that have worked for her and other celebrities that have complained about her treatment and even some racism within her show, within her employment background?
I'm so not surprised. I would really love to hear what some of the what Jackson said. I'm so not surprised.
Not surprised
at all.
Chris, what do you say?
I'm not surprised at all.
Not me neither, dog.
I believe it.
I definitely believe it. When you have a major media company, which is Warner Media, when you have a major company doing an investigation and talking about maybe canceling your show, I believe it.
Yeah.
In light of things that are going on with harassment and how serious it is these days, for it to go that far, it's very disturbing to me. And I was shocked because I think when you are a part of a group, whether it be LGBT, whether it be, I don't even know if I said that right, but if you, religion, whether you're Islamic, whether you're Christian, whether you're Catholic, whether you are of ethnic origin, maybe Native American, maybe Asian, whenever you are part of a group, to me, it seems like you're able to see how another person would feel if there's discrimination or harassment or a toxic environment. So that is what shocked me about Ellen. I'm not so necessarily shocked that it happened, but it shocked me because she is part of a group, or claims to be part of a group, I should say. And she's, this is going on, and it's been going on for years.
Power struggle. Struggle. She's having a real power struggle. It went to her head years ago.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to put a different spin on it because, again, I have my theories. I want to put a different spin. Could it be because, again, I do work with CEOs and people who own companies because I'm a consultant, an HR consultant for them. Could it be that someone could be so rich or so far removed from their business that they don't even know what's going on? I mean, let's be honest. Hasn't there been times that you've seen where people keep things from their boss? Yes. Based on the law, though, she's still responsible. Based on the law, ignorance is not an excuse. You cannot get off on ignorance. But based on the law, don't you think that even if you're an owner of a business that you should not be so far removed that
Shelley, we got a caller, mama.
know
Look
what's
at
going
you.
on? Okay, let's take the caller.
Look at you. You got to look at you. Hey, Dante. Hey, caller. Oh, Lord Jesus. I'm sorry, Rashid. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Rashid.
He said,
you see Rashid?
Love him. That's our technical person.
All right, Shelly, dog. We'll catch you back, Rashid, and pick it back up.
So my question to the panelists while he's trying to pick up that call, do you believe that someone could be so far removed that they don't even know what's going on? Lori G?
I think they can be, but is she? I think that's
I can't hear you, Lori. I can't hear you. Mute.
You got to unmute, Lola.
Oh, are you there?
Yeah. All right, give me 1 minute, guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get people into the Zoom room. I'll be right back, though.
Okay, Tat.
You got to call.
Do you believe that somebody can be so far removed as being maybe a CEO or owner that they don't even know what's going on within their organization?
I think it's possible, Shelley, but I think it's completely irresponsible and ignorant for one to do so. Now, that being stated, just in my opinion, she being, as we tended to think, this savvy, cutting edge, like you say, the alphabet person, right? I would tend to believe that anyone of that intellect and social positioning would be more attuned, if you will, to the day-to-day operation / going on of her organization. That's just me. I'm going to stand on it, not around it, and boom, shakalaka.
Okay. I mean,
well, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
mean, I do have audio. It's the title of the video. It's called Ellen DeGeneres Speaks Out About Workplace Allegations and Letter to Staff.
Okay.
I have that with me, but we have a caller. And caller, are you there with us? Caller? Oh, he hung up.
All right.
All right, so I'll play that audio then of her speaking up on the allegations themselves.
Okay.
I feel the same way about you. Thanks so much.
This morning, Ellen DeGeneres apologizing, writing in a letter to her talk show staff. On day one of our show, I told everyone in our first meeting that the Ellen DeGeneres show would be a place of happiness. Obviously, something changed, and I'm disappointed to learn that this has not been the case, and for that, I'm sorry. It comes just days after a source close to the production confirmed to NBC News that anonymous reports alleging a toxic work environment led Warner Media to launch an internal probe into the award-winning daytime series.
Thank you, most of you.
My name is on the show and everything we do, and I take responsibility for that. Ellen says, I'm committed to ensuring this does not happen again. Earlier this month, BuzzFeed first revealed allegations of a toxic workplace culture, and overnight published a new article alleging incidents of harassment, sexual misconduct, and assault from top producers on the show. BuzzFeed says they spoke to 36 former employees, many of them independently corroborating incidents of abuse.
The people I spoke to said that there is what they call a culture of fear and intimidation, and that is how the show is allegedly run.
Ellen is not accused of misconduct herself. Warner Media confirming to NBC News they have interviewed dozens of employees, past and present, saying in part, though not all the allegations were corroborated, we are disappointed that the primary findings of the investigation indicated some deficiencies related to the show's day-to-day management, adding there will be several staffing changes. Multiple outlets now reporting one of the show's executive producers, Ed Glavin, will soon be out. He and the other two EPs previously telling BuzzFeed they take the allegations very seriously.
Listen to one another and be kind to one another.
Ellen's signature Be Kind motto facing new scrutiny for what happened behind the scenes.
Wow.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Rashid. I appreciate that.
So what do you
All
guys
right.
think of that
Shirley,
apartment?
I have some comments for you with regard to the subject matter. Meg from our Facebook land has says, as an employee, I can, my boss doesn't know most things. So basically she was saying that, yeah, she tends to think that it could be where, the employee is doing something and the boss doesn't know, you know what I'm saying? That it could have been hidden from
Right.
Ellen, from her staffing level. It could totally easily happen. I don't know. And then Dex wanted to know, like, what changed Ellen? Like, what's up with her? So how could she not know? I'm sorry,
Hey guys,
but
we
yeah, how
got
could she not know?
two questions from our Zoom room.
All right.
I think we have one from Virginia. I am going to allow her to talk. Let's see if this will work. Hey, Virginia, are you there?
Hi, Virginia.
Hi.
Do you want to talk? Hey, Virginia.
Hi, how you guys doing today?
Good, how
We're
are
good.
you?
How are you?
I'm enjoying your format, and so nice to meet you, Sheila.
Thank you.
How do you say your name again? Shayla?
It's Shelley. Shelley.
Okay. All right. And Christine? Yes. You guys are great. Gerald, Rashid,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thing. I'm like,
Rashid
wow,
is
this
the
is
business.
fantastic.
Oh, baby.
Well, I am so proud and happy to see this being executed, really great. I was listening to that piece on Ellen. I think there's probably, like with all things, more than one thing going on. Probably she was not aware, and someone in her organization has self-appointed themselves with a great deal of power on her behalf, maybe, representing her and taking advantage of the chair that they're sitting in. So I kind of see maybe that's happening, because you can see that in a workplace. You have the higher ups who are trusting the people in the middle to manage things, and personality could be getting in the way of them doing a good job. They're not carrying out the mission of the organization because they have their own agenda.
Right.
That's true. That is very true. Well,
I was muted. That makes total sense. Thank you. So yeah, Virginia, that makes total sense, because you can't be everywhere. You can't keep your eyes on everything at all times.
Yeah, you got to you got to trust your generals.
That's true. Okay. I think we also had Jackie Fisher, who had a comment from our Zoom room. Let's see if she's still there. Hello, Jackie. Are you there? Jackie Fisher?
Oh, she's on mute. You have to take yourself on mute, Nana. There you go.
Hello?
Hey,
there you are. Yes, we can hear you.
Nana?
Hi. I don't know what because a lot of times people in high places, they empower their top staff to be their mouthpiece, and sometimes they overshoot themselves. So in that instant, it might have happened, but will we ever really and truly know the true story?
Yeah.
Will we ever really know the true story? But hopefully we'll get some true insight. I'd like to see what really happened, especially with the allegations of color being involved with one of the staff members saying race was involved, and I'd like to see how that would pan out.
Yeah, there are some specifics, Nana. Just to piggyback off what you said with racism, specifically, there was said, like, for example, there was a young lady of color. She was Black. She was African American, and she wore box braids. And there was another female, Black female employee that wore box braids. And one of the producers said to her, well, how are we going to tell you guys apart? Because now you both have box braids.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Like,
wow.
Exactly. Exactly.
And what if I came in there with my sister locks?
Right.
Then he would really
for
They would really be shocked.
Right. So for example, me, Jackie, and Lori have braids right now. So you're gonna tell me that you can't tell the three of us apart?
Wow. Now Virginia and I can speak to that, can't we, Virginia?
Yes, yes.
At our job, no one can tell us apart. Now Virginia, no disrespect, Virginia's about 4'10", okay?
Right.
She's the cutest thing that you've ever seen. And she's a little bitty petite thing, right? And you guys know me, I'm a more stocky, chunky lady, and I'm about 5'3". So how can you not tell us apart? That's crazy to us.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
and there was even a social event. And I'd like to add that there are social events that even employers, when you hold a social event, you're still liable for what happens there, even if you're off the clock and the show is not running or whatever is happening. There was also another allegation where one of the African-American females walked into the party. It was an event. And one of the writers said, "What's your name? Because I only know all of the white people's names."
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Yes.
Openly?
Wow.
Openly to her face.
Oh,
but these have been drinking, I'm taking it. Have they been drinking, Shelley?
Of course.
Get a little frisky, get a little frisky after a few drinks at a cocktail party. You know what I'm saying? So much coke is going on, too much drinking.
Liquid courage.
Those are my real estate partying days, y'all. Well, not my days, but me at the party. But me.
Hey, we got a new visitor. Mr. Charlie is with us tonight.
Hey, Mr. Charlie.
Great to see you.
305. My Aunt Meek in his house. Oh my goodness.
So there's the thing about Ellen. It really saddens me because I really like Ellen. I like her show. And I even like when she was Dory on Finding Nemo.
Right. I liked her too. I was very disappointed in seeing that. And one of the girls, this is the part that I really was taken aback by. One of the African-American girls said that she was called the PC police.
Oh.
Yeah. What does PC mean? Because I took it to mean, because you know I can go way out there.
Politically correct.
Is that people of color? Or is it what?
Yep.
Politically correct, right?
It's not politically correct.
I done changed the meaning on this stuff and didn't tell nobody.
Being a person of color, I'm thinking you calling me the people of color police. I don't know. Y'all tell me.
This is why I don't do much with you, because you just act so foolish. You act so foolish, right?
Because you know, you say something like that to me, I'm like, what does that mean? Are you saying I'm the people?
Yeah, you definitely gonna say that for real.
That's crazy.
This
I don't know.
Really,
oh my God.
She actually walked off and left that day. She didn't even finish her shift. She actually just walked off and left her shift. And I have to say, you know, my experience with the entertainment industry, I'm always behind the scenes, of course, the HR person behind the scenes. And I do have a couple of film industry clients. And one of the things that I find, they are like the worst offenders. Like, they work their employees to the bone and behind the scenes and on weekends, and expect them to work on the weekend, telling them on a Friday after they worked a 40-hour week, I need you on Saturday, you need to be here, or when I call you, you need to pick up the phone. Like, and people wonder why there's so many laws in California, because things like that. I should be able, if I'm an hourly employee, I should be able to go somewhere on a weekend or make plans on a weekend, or not say I can't make plans because I don't know if my job's gonna make me work that Saturday. That's not how it's supposed to be. So in this particular industry, trying to retrain these people on how to treat their employees, it's been a challenge for me. It has been a challenge. So
this is an entertainment, Shelley?
This is an entertainment, all film industry. I mean, you have the person that's working with me that is the operations manager, and he happens to have the same sex preference, and knowing that another employee has the same sex preference, he comes to behind him and hits him. You know how you hit a person behind the knees and they buckle a little bit? He told him, he said, I just wanted to see how you look on your knees.
Ooh.
Virginia gasp.
And they gasp.
I clutched my pearls. I was like,
shut up, not the pearls.
I clutched my pearls. I was like, what did you say?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Not like that, Sheli C.
In the film industry, yes. So,
Yeah,
you know, people.
Now, Mr. Charlie, you are in entertainment. Have you seen this type of egregious behavior on the sets you've been on?
Unmute yourself, Mr. Charlie.
Like, what?
We can't hear you, Mr. Charlie. You're on mute.
Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm coming in a little late, so and fill me in on what's going on with the industry.
Well, we were talking about the Ellen DeGeneres show. I don't know if you know, but there is an investigation going on because there's a lot of allegations of a toxic and uncomfortable work environment, a hostile work environment. People of color are complaining about racism. There are people who are complaining of mistreatment. And Lori wanted to know that you being in the industry, what has been your experience as far as the people that work behind the scenes? So like behind the show, the cameramen, the producers, the writers, the people that work behind the scenes, maybe in the corporate side of things of the show or business industry. What have you found? Have you seen any of that from your?
Yes, I seen stuff from racism to sexual things where a lot of women, I say per se women, to get certain parts have slept with certain producers for that part in movies. And yes, that goes in a lot. Video girls sleep with producers and rappers to get certain features and in the video or the movie. I've seen that go down a lot. Right.
Wow.
It goes on a lot. And like I said, racism, all kind of stuff goes on. We had a lot of that, just in the music business, where they didn't really feel comfortable paying blacks in the beginning. And if you look at even the rap industry, the early rappers didn't really get paid. They got ripped out a lot of the royalties.
Wow.
The new generation is beginning to reap, the fruits from the industry. But yes, a lot where black, entertainers and rappers wasn't getting their fair, due.
Wow. Meg called them video hoes, Mr. Charlie. That's what you heard me joke.
Yeah, I ain't want to say that. Yeah. That's still going down.
Wow. But that's the casting couch. On a straight up, I mean, no disrespect. Don't you punch me or anything, but like the casting couch, that's like for real. I mean, it exists.
Yeah.
Weinstein, R. Kelly, on and on to the break of dawn.
It
definitely goes on.
It's the black couch.
Yeah, the black couch. Yeah, it's definitely going on.
What you call it?
Black
couch? There's a black couch.
Yeah, it's a black couch.
Well, y'all need to school me on that one.
Yeah, tell me what's happening with that, Rashid.
Yeah,
okay.
I never done it. I'm not a part of that though. I seen it go down.
It's a disclaimer.
I'm not.
Yeah, make sure you don't group him in that. He's
don't put me in that.
I plead the fifth.
I get mine fair and honest.
Rashid pleaded the fifth. Oh my God.
Rashid just pleaded the fifth, people.
Oh my goodness.
You went from going to give us
I know nothing. I say nothing.
He just.
You're not gonna put a video on us now.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
There is so much happening here. Oh my goodness.
Sheli C birthday party now.
Well, Crystal, give us your input. What do you think? What do you think about this type of thing happening behind the scenes and people claiming toxic environment, racism, sexual harassment, just plain harassment?
How can we police that?
And how do we police that? What do you think, Crystal? Crystal, you're on mute.
You guys are putting me on the spot here. I wasn't planning on talking. Trying to get into the audience side and not be a panelist, but yeah, I think
it's not working, Crystal.
No,
God
it's
wants
not
you to
working.
be.
Yikes.
my first time here, and I just wanted to check out the show, and now I'm put on the spot. But
redo it.
That's
yeah, I think it's really ridiculous. I was in and out trying to navigate here, but what I can recall from the conversation that you guys are having is that, I mean, it's just terrible. I don't know how we move on from this. I don't know why this still exists in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this still the standard? And, hoping that with everything that's going on nowadays, we can just really examine ourselves as individuals and make those changes that we need so that we don't continue this type of behavior anywhere in a work environment.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Virginia.
we can.
What I want to say is we've experienced an employee who has come from that industry, and unfortunately that person was very damaged when they came to work for us.
Aww.
So and what they're talking about is very real. What the lady what you read about the Black girls talking about, we can't tell you apart and all this, she gave us some horror stories of what would happen and what happened to her personally. And she couldn't work for us because what she told me was she could not work for us in our environment because we were too nice. We were too kissy, and we were too nice. And her behavior was one that was destructive. She tried to create havoc in different environments. But we still try to embrace her with love, and that, that's just not the right behavior. That's not how we act here, We want to leave work in a good mood. We came. We don't need drama,
Right.
and also to a point of almost causing a physical altercation.
Oh my.
Yeah, it didn't happen, but she moved there, and Crystal can testify on my behalf because she kind of witnessed it.
I witnessed it and had to move it outside.
Yeah.
Outside.
Yeah.
You got to move it.
Yeah, exactly. So that environment is toxic, and it spills over and damages those people when they leave that industry and try to go to work somewhere else, because it did for her. She had no clue how to navigate an environment that wasn't toxic.
Wow.
So I guess you kind of like get conditioned by going to that environment year after year or day after day, that it becomes an expectation of the workforce, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stress.
So, we got 3 HR gurus on our panel today. So what do you do with that? If you run into, does that person get an accommodation like for counseling, or are they just fired? How do you help and support someone like that?
I would say depending on what happens or what that person does, and you move from that point forward. But basically, by law, you should be trying to coach and teach that person the culture of the environment that they are now working in. So maybe they did work in a toxic environment, and basically what you're trying to do is retrain them that this is not that type of environment, and either you get with the program or you're going to be leaving very soon.
Yeah, well, that's what ended up happening, because she couldn't get with the program.
Right.
She said we were just too kissy. We would take
You
she couldn't take it. She could not take it. And I'm quoting her. You guys are just too kissy. I can't take it.
Wow.
Yeah, because people sue companies in California. California don't play.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So Gerald, I'm interested in your line of work, working in the hotel industry. Do you see issues of discrimination or issues of harassment?
You're on mute, Gerald. Tap.
All right, Gerald. Gerald's in the hotel industry.
Okay, yeah. So, in the hotel industry, I really do believe a prerequisite of when you hire managers, the execs expect the managers to crack whips and stuff like that, and if they don't, like the lady was saying earlier, if it's too happy-go-lucky environment, you know, they don't like that. I mean, I don't know if they want you to be stressed, but they want you to be basically like robots, you know, and thank God for unions. You know, we have unions, and I'm not in the managerial part of the hotel industry. I'm an employee, and we do believe, as employees, we do believe when management comes on, they have to come on with a type of attitude where all business, no play, no happy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, that's how it is. They want to, I guess that's their way that they can really manifest how they're getting their money's worth from us. You know what I mean? That's how they see if they're getting their money's worth from being straight, you know, strict to the employees, you know, having the employees watched over and having the employees looked at, what do you call, we have a word for that, micromanaging the employees.
Micromanaging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. Guys, Tanya Michelle joined us. Hey,
Tanya Michelle, you're on mute. You're on mute. One of the you mentioned something that's interesting, Tab, with unions on the Ellen DeGeneres show. She had some unions employees and she had some non-union employees. And a lot of times when pandemics happen like this one, the union employees are normally protected, okay? But the non-union employees, I guess what they're putting out in the media is that she makes $5 billion, or she's worth $5 billion. I shouldn't say make, she's worth $5 billion. And so their thought was, why can't you pay us during this pandemic? Like, we helped make this show. How is it that you can't pay us our full salary while we're on this pandemic? And I thought that was very interesting. And I want to know what the panel has to say about her making a certain amount of money and them expecting some type of, you know, their full pay during the pandemic. At first it was initially that it was going to be 2 weeks. We all know that the shutdown was 2 weeks, but now it's happening a little bit longer than that. What do you guys think of that expectation?
I know one thing, the non-union workers are a lot of times walking on the eggshells. You know, they know they're at-will employees and they can be fired at any, you know. I would literally have to punch someone in the face to get fired. My union is tight. My union is for us, for the people, and, you know, they represent us lovely. You know, we have to, you know, the mistakes we made have to be real serious for them to get rid of us. And if we see anything and they give us a voice, I have a voice because of the union. Now, yes, it does. I see also there's a downfall about that too, as far as being an owner or a CEO or a general manager or whatnot, because a lot of people hide behind the union as well.
Yeah, they're protected. They're protected. They know.
They don't do their job. They know it's a lot of things, you know, and I think a lot of that is falling waistline now because this pandemic changed a lot of stuff. The union don't have the power like they had before, and right now I'm talking to you guys, but I'm at work. I'm working, and
don't tell nobody else that.
That's a secret, Tap. A secret.
You're on your lunch break, remember?
Thank you guys. These guys are so sweet, but you know what? I already covered that. They know that they allowed me to use my laptop. So I asked that question because I was scared to death. You know? So because they know I look at So I have to know what events are going on outside, and this show is very informative. I learned a lot here, and when you're learning.
So glad. We're so glad. And with that being said, Tanya Michelle, you are on mute, but I have a question for you. How do you feel about that? How do you feel that the non-union employees feel that because Ellen makes so much, that's their thought process, that because she makes so much, that she should be paying their full salary during the pandemic? What are your thoughts on that?
I think that everybody, when you're a business owner, has to adjust if you're not getting income. And unfortunately, if you have employees, that's part of the adjustment. I think that's just the reality of even in your own personal life. If something's going on, you have to make the adjustment to protect your own finances in the midst of this COVID. So just because she has $1 billion doesn't mean she's exempted at her $1 billion status. She may be living up to her $1 billion, and she may.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. She could be broke her own self because she spent every dollar.
Right. So, but I think that's a common misconception, though. I hear that a lot, where a place, well, they make enough money, or they make all this money. Why can't they do this or that? But
it's not their obligation, though. That's her personal money. Yeah.
Right. And why should she? I mean, I have to defend her a little bit. Why should she have to spend her personal money when you got state unemployment and you getting an extra $600? I mean, like, really? You want me to pay your salary, your full salary, but you getting an extra, you probably getting more. And I have to say this, there are a lot of people that are getting more money on unemployment than they were when they were working. Yes. So who's to say that she didn't look at that? Who's to say that she didn't look at it and say, well, hey, maybe they're getting more money on unemployment. Why would I interfere with that? Maybe she did have the money. Maybe she didn't. I'm just saying, if it were me, my thought process would be their state unemployment and they're adding an extra $600. Why would I take my money that I worked hard for and pay you when the state has made benefits for you for this type of situation? Right. So I thought that was a little unfair. I'm not saying that I'm for or against. I'm not saying the harassment didn't happen. I'm not saying that maybe there's not a toxic environment, but that part of it became an accusation. And I thought, how unfair is that you're expecting me to spend my hard-earned money on you when you have benefits?
When is that?
I agree.
Hey, Shelley, when does the state benefit end? Isn't it ending in 2 weeks?
No, it ends yesterday. The extra $600 ended yesterday, and the Congress is fighting over it. The Republicans want to take it down to the $200 a week, and the Democrats are saying that's not enough. How can people live off of $200 a week? Why would you take that $600 away? So what the Republicans are thinking,
so 600, they want to take 400 off the 6 or take the 6 and leave you with 2.
Right.
200 extra.
Right.
Because they're already getting they get for unemployment, and then the extra, that 600 that the Republicans want to take it down to 2. They're fighting for that right now as we speak, guys.
Right.
They're fighting for that right now.
So that
is it true that California was going to make up that $400 deficit for its?
I did hear that. Read an article on that, Lori.
I did hear that. I heard that Governor Newsom, despite all the pickets I've seen out there and people who are against him, I heard that he's actually really fighting for if Congress does not pass it, that he wants to try to make up, the state wants to try to make up that amount, because it's really not enough money for people to live off of. It really is.
Mr. Charlie, how do things look out there in Florida?
Florida, well, you know, I can say this. I got a security business that I run on the side. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I got a security business that I run on the side. Man, Tap was actually having this conversation the other day, and I'm just fortunate to have a business that people still need security, but a lot of people are out of work, you know, so a lot of us are comfortable and some people are really suffering out here, you know, and some of these people bills exceed $600 or $600 a week. before the pandemic. So, you know, for some people that might be comfortable, and for some people that's uncomfortable, and it's just not enough. And, you know, it's just an unfortunate thing that we're living at. And I feel like, you know, the government, they make the money. So just, you know, to the unfortunate, you know, take care of the unfortunate that don't have it. But on the subject which y'all was speaking before, as the people who run the shows like Ellen, I agree, you know, these people, sometimes we think they rich and they not rich. Their expenses be high, you know, or whatever. They may have, you know, a lot of people in their family they taking care of. And we just don't know the real true story behind a lot of people's finances to make judgment on that. And then some people that work in these companies, some people is not as important as others. So when it get down to a pandemic like this, they're gonna take care of who they feel important. And you know, I think it boils down to who's important and who's not. When just even in your house, you know, you're gonna start cutting off this bill, cutting off that bill, you know, when stuff get tight, you know. So some people are scared to demand a lot of money or more money when they know their position wasn't really as important as other people's positions.
I just saw recently, Charlie, I wanted to ask everybody too, opposed to this, what I'm saying. Did you guys hear that the stimulus money that they were giving to small businesses, people in cities, Philadelphia, Miami, I don't know if California, but a lot of people are taking advantage of that and they're getting money and they don't even own businesses.
Yes.
You hear about that?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. I've been approached. Yeah,
You know,
I have been approached by two people who are running the scam. They're filling out the forms and answering all the right questions so that you could just automatically get the check.
Wow.
And they're making up companies.
Unfortunately, where I'm from,
fake companies.
Fake companies.
Yeah, they making up companies, Charlie. They already know how to do that. And unfortunately, where I'm from in Philadelphia, it's like, oh, it's off the meter right now. And those people might go to jail. I'm
Absolutely.
You, so some of them have already went to jail.
I'm not gonna say not a mic.
Some of them already went to jail.
Yeah.
And
They
you know
will be going to jail.
You know, the government is trouble, and the Democrats are fighting for it. But you know what? The government, it's just unbelievable. I'm wondering, these people that's pulling these scams and just, you know, everybody needs to eat and everyone's trying to make it. But the people who are pulling these scams, are these the same people that's not peaceful protesting? Are these the rioters? Are these the same? Are they people that's not cooperating peacefully and doing things like law-abiding citizens? Or these just people that's
opportunists? Opportunity. They see a way to get money. It's no different than,
I agree.
You know, before the pandemic, you had credit card fraud, tax fraud.
Right.
It's been going on where people, you know, ripping off the IRS and government.
Mm-hmm.
And they see a way they can make money, whether it's drugs or it don't matter. You know, it's just the way of America. But, you know, Black people get blamed for most of this.
For everything.
It's white collar crimes been going on for the longest, you know.
Yes.
Of course. Why do you think the president doesn't want people to doesn't want the Congress to see his taxes?
Right.
I mean, come on. Why wouldn't you? If you're honest, why wouldn't you?
It's funny you say, this might sound racist, but I'm not a racist guy. But I just also find out, I don't know if this is true, maybe you guys can school me on this, but I hear that it's more people, there's more white people in the United States on welfare than there's Black people.
Always has been. Always has been. Welfare was created for them. Social Security was created for them.
Yes.
They had to pass laws and fight to get access.
Get part of it.
And then when we got on the welfare, your man couldn't live in your house.
You're right.
He had to move out. He had to move out.
You couldn't have an iron.
Right.
Right. You couldn't have an iron.
Right.
An iron. You couldn't have a man. You couldn't have an iron.
Or
you
TV.
You couldn't have nice dishes. None of that.
Shelley,
Your house couldn't be clean and neat.
No.
In addition to that, guys, these are just facts that in New York, in Brooklyn, you can best believe these are business owners. How are Hasidic Jews? The Hasidic Jews are the ones that wear those hats and got the curls coming out the hats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hasidic Jews are collecting welfare. These are people, how do they get by and do that? That has to be against, they say that they know how to beat the system.
No, I can see that.
I don't know how that's happening. And you know, but like Charlie, I'm getting back, I'm saying this because Charlie just said, Black people get blamed for everything. But believe me, our crimes may not even be a half of what other races are doing.
Right, they're just not seen. They're just not. They're just not seen or recognized when other people do it. I mean, there is a Jewish community that I drive through sometimes, and I'm wondering how is it every single house is being torn down to the ground and rebuilt?
Yes.
How is that happening, especially during a pandemic? When I say completely to the ground, there is a whole community where everything is torn completely to the ground and built up. And I'm not just saying just the rinky-dink built up. I'm talking about almost like, it looks like a mansion. When you're driving through that neighborhood and you'll see every other house, maybe 5 houses down, where it's an older house that's maybe in the 50s that was built, but then every time each block you come to, there's about 2 or 3 houses that are being torn down to the ground and built up and built luxuriously. When I say 3 to 4 car garages, what is that?
I think what happens, I can't say if that's what's happening in your community, but I know out here in Rancho, right? There's an area where all of the houses are pretty much, I mean, on a block, there's like 8 houses that have been demolished. But what has happened is those houses were purchased by those people's parents 40 years ago, right? And so those people have set on all that equity when they bought that house for, I don't know, $10,000, $15,000, way back in, 1945 or 1950. Right? And so now you got so much equity. The house is paid off. It's been passed down to the heirs of that house. So they got buku equity. I mean, a house that somebody paid $25,000 for in Rancho back in 1950 is now worth $1 million, and it's not even up to code. It's not even reestablished. So we're seeing a lot of that happen over there, where they're just gutting them and they're putting up these mini mansions. I mean, things that you would see in Brentwood or Beverly Hills.
And that's exactly where I'm talking about. I was trying not to say where I've been seeing this, but I've been seeing it. It's a place called Beverly Wood, and there's a place called Brentwood, and there's a place called, of course, there's Century City and Beverly Hills. And I'm seeing all of those houses going down to the ground, and I won't even, and usually like when you get contracting work done on your home, it takes weeks and months. I'm sorry, but I get frustrated with that. And then I can see a house that was torn down and built up within literally 2 weeks. Literally 2 weeks.
But you see how much power they have. Shelley, you see how much power they have also? Soon as Nick Cannon said something about them, immediately he was cut off.
He lost everything, yeah.
He lost everything. So, that's power. It's like they don't want to be talked about. They don't, they're like, it's unbelievable. They're running things right now.
So this is a question I have for the panel. How does one gain that type of power?
I think I'll be honest with you, I think by thinking strategically. I'll be honest with you, I think they really think strategically. They value property. They value, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, to me, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, the only way you're gonna get anywhere in America, and especially California, you have to have property. Not just the one that you live in, but
investment,
other property that you rent, because that is the only way you're going to gain any type of wealth, I think, in my opinion. I could be wrong, and anybody on the panel, please, if you have some suggestions, but that is my opinion. And I think they are very smart in doing that in that aspect. I'm not saying that we're not smart on that realm, because I'm telling you now, I didn't know anything about this type of stuff in my 20s and my 30s. And now that I'm in my 50s, I'm figuring out the only way that I'm going to be able to live comfortably and be where I want to be on my own is to have property.
Well, Shelley, you also have to remember too that they have years of generational wealth, and we do not have that.
We don't have that. Absolutely. That's just what I was going to say, Chris.
I agree, but I can.
And they work collectively too. In the synagogue, when a child is born, every member of that synagogue has to put a certain dollar amount into a chest for that child. And then that money is invested for that child when they're born.
So
it's not a relative, it's not an immediate family member, it's a member of the community at large. So they're vesting in another human being who is part of their community. And that money is put away when that kid gets 18, 20, getting ready to go to college. Well, she has a next egg. They have something to invest. And they're taught financial matters early.
Yes.
Also, let me say this, just as Black people, we don't get the same opportunities as loans and stuff like that. I still don't know why they got race and ethnics on applications. You know, why do you need to know if we're all Americans, it shouldn't be a color issue? But all these things I think put in place just for Blacks not to get the same benefits that a lot of whites get, to even, like you say, to be able to own a house. A lot of white people don't start off with credit. They're given this credit, you know, low key, you know, they're getting favors. Like you say, generational wealth was added to it. And you look at the average Black man, they're trying to give us felonies before we even 18.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's all part of the power structure, and it's been legal since day one. We have always been, for them, a commodity, and they will figure out a way to keep us in a status of a commodity where they can make wealth. I'm listening to this book called Another Type of Slavery, and it's about right after the Reconstruction, when they start using that clause in the 13th Amendment that if you break a law, you lose your freedom, and now you're re-enslaved, you know, as part of the 13th Amendment. So they just start arresting and making up phony kind of jobs, in anything, phony charges, and then re-enslaving Black men and selling them to the state or the county that you live in. The sheriff would sell you to U.S. Steel, so you would have to go work in the coal mine, and you might get a extremely long sentence for vagrancy, you know. So, and they did that to hundreds and thousands of Black people right after slavery. So, oh, you free, but this clause right here says that if you commit a crime, you're no longer free. So now we're going to just start arresting you for anything. Vagrancy was never even an offense until they created it so that they can arrest Black men for it.
Yeah.
If you didn't tell them you changed jobs, you got arrested. They just made up all kind of crazy stuff. I haven't finished listening to the book, but it's kind of heartbreaking, but a revelation all at the same time, because so many things have been done to us as a people to keep us in where we make money for them. Some kind of way they are going to profit off of our Black bodies. They make laws and create situations where they come out on top. And it's all coming out now. They're writing all kind of books on their history about what they have done.
Thus, systemic racism.
Exactly.
And even so far as when a lot of the Black men get out of jail and they paid their debt to society, they're still being punished. by not being able to get jobs and got to get their voters right back and this back. I already paid my debt, so why can't I get treated like a human again? You know, so, you know, and it's been going on since the beginning of time, not just the slavery. They found so many ways, like you was just saying, keeping the black man out the house with the Section 8 and, you know, all of the HUDs and all of these things. So we got more stacked against us when it comes to being successful and as far as working as unity with each other. They got so many things and set up for us not to make it more than they got it set up for us to make it.
Right,
You know?
and they resent you making it. Also,
Correct.
it's called white rage. The audacity of you to pull yourself up and climb and get to here, you know.
Get close to me.
Yeah, I dare you. How did you get that opportunity? And it's called White Rage. There's another lady that wrote a book about white rage and what infuriates them. And when they see you do something, they will go and make a law or something to counter your progress. They cannot take it. They're just built different. I don't know.
Do you
also,
think we're going to see a shift in any of that in light of COVID-19 and George Floyd and all of the protests? Just as a panel, throwing it out there, everybody, do you think we'll see any improvement or any change in that?
I think we're going to have to keep fighting. I think it's not going to be given easily. I think we're going to have to keep fighting. I think that's why John Lewis left his last letter and speech to us and saying, I'm done. You guys got to keep the fight up because we're going to have to keep fighting. It's not going to come easy. I don't even know if we're going to see it in our
lifetime. Yeah.
But I think we're going to have to keep fighting. I think it's not going to be easy for us.
Right. Have you guys seen this commercial? I saw it last night. It's a young black lady and she's speaking about when you see me, I'm black. When you see me, I'm black. And then she said, but when you see me, you don't know that I'm a police officer. All you see is black. You don't know that I'm a mother of 3 kids. All you see is that I'm black. When you see me, you don't see that I'm a wife. You don't see, all you see is I'm black. Well, I can't change being black.
I saw that.
Yeah, that was, I mean, it was so powerful. I said, oh, wow. I said, this is really powerful.
That.
And the way she was saying, she was serious.
Right.
She was serious. Yeah. But here she is as a police officer, but you don't see that because she said, when I take off my uniform, all you see is that I'm black. You know, that's all you see. You don't see anything else, you know, and they have in their minds have created this for them to have the acceptance that you are less than human so that they don't have to justify their behavior, so they can justify your behavior. They immediately criminalized you because that's what the man was saying in his book. Well, they said, well, that's sad that they treat him like that and they beat him and they whipped him, but he was a criminal, but he went to jail for vagrancy that they made up, you know, not because he was a real criminal, but we have been criminalized so that we're even affected, and we have to sometimes catch ourselves and not have that same reaction when we encounter ourselves. You know what I'm saying? You'll see someone and you immediately your little mind start calculating, you know, is he a gang member? What is he doing? You know, where is he at? You know, you just start like, you know, I'm saying, oh wow, they have got us so screwed up.
Yes,
you know?
Yes, they do have us screwed up because sometimes I'll be like, okay, let me take my purse off my shoulder.
Exactly.
Am I gonna have to beat this MF? Because
exactly. Yeah,
it ain't
because
looking
they
good
have
right now.
Yeah, and they have criminalized us to the point that the whole world sees us as criminals.
And we
see ourselves as that.
Exactly.
I'm being honest. Yeah. There are times I'll be like, okay, let me get ready because I don't know what's about to pop off right now.
Right.
Get ready.
Right.
I'm just gonna
Tanya Michelle, did you have a comment?
Yes, Tanya.
I was just listening to the conversation. I think I was thinking about this whole thing about generational wealth and real estate now. And, you know, right now under COVID, if you're getting ready to buy a house, you have to put 30% down.
That's right.
average person.
Wow.
Down 30%. So some of the prices are dropping, and these people who have 30% to put down are able to acquire more land, and Fannie Mae and all those other programs are not really working at this time because of the uncertainty of the economy.
Right.
And I also have concerns. You know, I think that the stimulus package, and I know this is going to cause an uproar, which I do all the time, but the stimulus, I think it should have only been for a certain amount of time because at some point, preserve the economy. And I think that the economy is going to be in a lot of trouble if because there's a lot of people who are taking advantage of these stimulus packages. Like you said,
I agree, Tanya. I agree.
Yeah. And next year we have to live, and if we don't have money, we're depending on other states, and then that whole one world order stuff is going to come in. There's not going to be any cash.
Right.
Debit card for everything, and people are not thinking that way. People are not thinking and looking at history and depression and stuff and all that. They're just self-centered, and so I'm for a lot of this, but I think a lot of us have timelines. We have people that are off at work just because they have somebody in the house who's older. Well, you staying at home getting stimulus money, getting your unemployment. You have somebody at home that's older, you know, and so then they're at this whole culture thing has just caused me and suddenly, you know, part of my spirit.
No, I agree with you, Tanya. You didn't say anything that I didn't agree with. I agree with you. I really do believe for the people who really and truly do need it, I believe that it should be. But there are a lot of people. I have a lot of clients that are telling me I can't bring these people back to work because they're making so much money staying at home.
And they don't want to come back to work. Yeah, that's what the Republicans are saying. That's why they want to take it away.
And that's unfair. That's unfair to the people that really need it, or people who really have underlying health conditions, who really can't work. Or people who are still waiting on unemployment since March.
But that's
I know some people are still waiting. It's horrible.
It's horrible.
That's been the way of the world. We always suffer because there's a group that don't do what they're supposed to do.
Correct.
And so then we all get impacted instead of looking out for each other.
Right.
You know, I posted this picture on Facebook the other day, and it's people in a boat, and two people in the back of the boat looking at the other people trying to survive and with a hole in the boat, and they're just sitting there doing nothing. And that's what happens. Everybody's in their own little microcosm. If I'm okay, I'm okay. I can't worry about you. And we're not being united in this time of a pandemic, the cultural pandemic that we're under, and the disease pandemic. We got two pandemics colliding with themselves right now: inequity and disease, and we're just not handling either one of them right.
I agree. I agree. That's why we're in the boat we're in right now, because they're not being handled properly. You know, we have the people that are more privileged that feel that they can say and do whatever they want to do, whether it's a mask or not. But basically, like they said, this disease don't care about your privilege.
Not at all.
Chris, you're pretty quiet. What you got going over there, girl? You haven't said much of anything.
I know. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, good. Really, I wasn't saying too much because my microphone, my son gave me his little ear things here where I can talk, but I couldn't hardly hear myself. It's just, I mean, it's a lot to take in, and I can only say you have to trust God. You have to know God. You have to really depend, no matter, I mean, we see this stuff going on, but we can't save nobody. You know, we might help someone, but God is our light can only shine that other people can see, you know, what we're going through if we're not stressed. I mean, at home, behind closed doors, what you do, okay, that's what you do. But ultimately, there has to be another source in the higher power, which is God in you. You have to look to it for somebody else to see that in you. So there's stuff that's going on. It's going to happen. It's just going to be. It is. I can't say it is what it is, but it is as we see it. You know, and if you don't trust God, you don't trust what Jesus did, the Holy Spirit teaching you, you are the righteousness of God. So you have that light in you already. We already have the power in us. We just can't get it because we too focused on what everybody else doing.
Right.
I think Jackie Fisher has something to say as well. Jackie?
Jackie?
I just want to say, you know, I'm older than all of you. And I remember 1965 when John Lewis crossed that bridge. But seeing that young man die with that policeman's knee in his neck was just like a lynching to me.
Yes.
It showed me that racism in 2020 is alive and well. It showed me how much that white cop enjoyed that man's taking that man's life.
Yes.
Because he took it.
His
He
last-
took it, and he enjoyed every minute of it with his hands
He
in his
murdered
pocket.
that man.
And the other man didn't have the balls enough to make him move. And then the people around him, they were saying, get off. They didn't have the power to stop because they probably would have been shot.
Yes.
But racism is still alive and well, and you still have to give young Black men the warning that you have to watch out for cops. And it's a shame. It's a shame that supposedly we're free, but we're not.
No.
We're not free. And it's a shame because this is something that's been going on since I was a child. In my growing up, I went to Texas when I was 16 and went to a little five and dime and went to a lunch counter. And you know, I didn't know nothing. I went and sat down. But I wasn't supposed to sit down there. You know, but I'm California. I didn't know that. You know? So, but racism is right now. And that's a scary thing because it's alive and well in California, just like it's alive and well in the deep South. But I am encouraged because the marches I have seen have not been just Black people.
Right.
The white people are waking up to the fact that we have been marginalized. We have been framed, as it were, by the color of our skin. And no matter how high we rise, even to a president, and look how much Trump has tried to tear everything Obama stood for and did down every chance he gets.
Yes, he does.
He tries to strip him, but we know what he did. We know that he had in place something to cover what's going on with this virus. But what happened? Trump
dismantled it. Yep.
Dismantle it. So we didn't have that. But he wants to point out that Obama didn't take care of it. But Obama was on his job. It's Trump who is lacking as a man. He doesn't have anything to stand up against. But Obama's 3 times better a man, just a man.
Yeah.
Let alone
the
a
very
president.
definition of white privilege.
Yes.
Yeah, but Obama has class that Trump will never have, no matter how much money he has. Huh?
I think clinically, 45 has some problems. I think narcissism.
Oh yes,
absolutely, his biggest problem.
He's dangerous because when you take a businessman and put him in that position, he becomes very dangerous because all he sees is business. He doesn't see, He's never been a product of being poor.
Right.
He's never had to suffer. Everything was handed to him. So all he sees, he is setting up things so his business can thrive, and his friends, his rich friends' business can thrive. So when he leaves office, everything is set up for him. So he's
I don't know if it's so much thriving, Shelley, as it is ego and pride and power. I think
if you work for someone in corporate, he acts just like someone who has never, ever had to suffer. Everything is handed to them. A person running a corporation. He is exactly what he acts like.
Another thing too.
What he
another
is.
thing they moved off of power, and back touching on what Jackie was just talking about with the George Floyd. When you go back even to the slavery days, you look at somebody like, well, I'm gonna put it this way: if Tupac probably was out there when he had his neck, his knee on it, and George, he probably would have got shot if Tupac was strapped. So just like with the Nat Turner, they remove these powerful people and make us, from power. Yeah, they make us feel like we're weak. But at any moment, any black man could have moved him off of there. But they got us so scared. So in order for blacks to gain our power back, this is why that Nat Turner movie, they didn't want that movie to really go global, because they don't want us to know how powerful we really are. So if you had the right men out there that day, black men, and not even so much just black men, because a lot of whites have fought for black people and died for us back in the days too. So just the right people being out there that would have moved him off his neck, he would still be alive today. So we have to come together and unify, whether it's black or white, just like they did back in the days. Even with the Nat Turner movement and the Harriet Tubman movement, it was whites and blacks working together to stop a lot of this stuff that's going on. Because it's not just praying. It's going to be some action have to be put into effect to say, get your knee off his neck and move him off.
Faith without works is dead.
Yeah. So we got to start putting in a little more action.
As you say, Mr. Charlie, I think a big part of it, though, is conditioning, right? We learn in basic psychology, Pavlov's dog, right? The dog will salivate if you ring the bell, right? And so I've seen like recreations of historical periods where they had slaves working in fields and they had gunmen with gun lines, and the gunmen weren't afraid of anyone running off, because the slaves were so afraid of what happened to people who did that. They were conditioned to stay right in that geographical area. And so I wonder and I ponder, how do we recondition our youth? How do we recondition my generation of people to not do what Tanya said, to sit on the back of the boat and watch the hole on the other side where the people drown? How do we get past that?
But you know,
another
you got to get involved
about that, and I think that's strategic, right? And we all know that culture eats strategy, right? And so how do you get to the hardcore culture of all this? Like the condition you were talking about we can talk about the police department and George Floyd. This guy who had his foot on the George's neck, he was hierarchy compared to the rookies. They know that was wrong. The culture of the organization is not to go against your trainee or go against the people who are in hierarchy. And so you just have to take each little pocket and try to change the culture. I don't know how easy that is.
I agree with you, but I think it goes beyond that. I mean, it seems like every time I turn on the news, right, there's somebody who's videotaping another person who got beat or another person who died. I'm like, where's our connection to humanity?
Right.
So you're going to stand on the outside and watch an old lady get robbed, or a person that's handicapped get kicked and beat. Even our children, they're taping each other jumping the other person and beating this child to the point of hospitalization. Where are we making the disconnect in a sense of humanity, of human mind,
this
the value
thing,
of human life?
The media controls everything from the news to the Facebooks to the internet, And what they want you to believe that it's not a lot of people that's fighting for us. And even like it was more than one Nat Turner. It was more than one Harriet Tubman.
Yes, Mr.
They don't
Charles,
advertise
yes.
this stuff because they want you to think that everybody, you know, is not working together and unifying. But it was so many. You speak of the gun line, but so many people knocked that gun line off that chair, and there was a lot of deaths. But they don't advertise that.
That's right.
They don't advertise that because it will build you up to understand we can conquer over. So the mental mindset, like you said, it was a lot of deaths back in those days. Everybody just did. A lot of people ran off the plantation, you know, but they don't talk about
that.
Those people. You only hear a selective few, Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner. It was millions of them, but you're not going to hear about it because they control the media. They control what people hear and say, and you know, so we have to know that we're powerful people and we can move that man knee off his neck.
That part.
Because I'm gonna put it this way: if that was your child, his knee would have got moved. See, we're moving to, you know, we're mentally conditioned to say, you know what, that's not my brother, or that's our brother. But if that was your child, something would have kicked in you and say, he's finna move his knee off of my daughter or my son neck.
Right. And we all gonna die.
That's just just like the pandemic was going on. How they talk about all the deaths and they talk about you know, all the people that have it, but they not talk about all the hundreds of people that don't have it. I have not heard. I listen to different stations, and I'm like, well, what happened to the people that, you know, that aren't sick, that don't have it? That's way more than the people who do have it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, I have never heard nobody talk about, you know, say that on the news. And I'm like, you know, they just playing this game. They trying to see who's gonna fall into that trap. But you know what? It's not gonna work. These things are. What's happening is supposed to happen.
Amen.
Because these are the times
that we're living
in. Look for the signs. You know.
Yep.
It tells you all day long in the Bible. Watch, pray, watch, because you're gonna see. These are the signs. What's happening.
The thing is too, they also so many steps ahead of us. Like we're around here, we get the stimulus checks and loans and all this stuff, but they got a bigger plan that we're not even thinking about.
Absolutely.
You know, we're so minute to the bigger plan that's going on right before
we're
our eyes.
expendable. As it said in this book, the man, he was buying his slaves and he says, niggers are cheap. Niggas are cheap. And this was the guy is taking excerpts of what people were really saying back in the day. You know, he said, I'm going to forewarn you, these are real statements from real people, you know. And I was like, wow. So like I said, they don't see us other than in some kind of value that was going to bring an economic profit for them. They, you know, they look at a black person and they say, let me pick my part. What part of you am I going to be able to generate some wealth from? Then they created the criminal system. It pays a lot of money. You look at all the paychecks running through the criminal system.
Just the telephone bill, shut them up. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's a cold game, y'all. It's a dirty cold game. But I'm gonna have to keep going with Chris Fisher, because Miss Kristen Fisher is always gonna bring us the word and keep us wholesome and keep us on our spirituality tip, which is
but it's true.
Something we definitely do here in the Poetry of Justice show with JackieRay Phillips. So Chris, give us a word. I need a word.
Yes.
So the let's see. Ooh, thank you, Holy Spirit. So the word is just going to be to pray without ceasing. Pray without ceasing. And I mean, it's just not getting on your hands and knees and that praying for that wisdom for you to do your part, for us as individuals to do our part in wherever we are, wherever we going, wherever we do, because we can't help and save everybody, but we can play a part like the tree, like how Jesus said we all, you know, there's a leg, there's an arm. What part are you? A finger, a cell inside a cell. It's all one body when you look at your own body. So we just as a body have to, you know, come together and just pray without ceasing. That's what it's going to take. yeah, like Charles said, we can do something. We have to get a system together. But who's going to be the head to put the system together? Or who's going to be the hand to go grab the neck and the fingers and pull us all together? You know, we already have the seed. The seed is already there, and that's Jesus Christ. So we already know, you know, for believers, we know the Holy Spirit lives in us, and we have the power already in us.
Yes, I agree. That resurrection power, right?
Yes, how are we going
The resurrection
How
power.
are we going to let that show us to grab somebody here, grab somebody there? Just talking about it, it's already working. Already
I have a question from Facebook, everyone, from Mr. Gerald Barnes. What did you all think of, if you had a chance to take a look at the Not Fucking Around Coalition? Did you guys have a chance to watch the NFAC confront the KKK at Stone Mountain, Georgia? That was on July 4. Did you guys have a chance to take a look at that? Did you see that?
Tell us about
I didn't get to see that.
No.
Oh my God. Okay, it's going to revolutionize your thought. Mr. Charlie, everybody, I need everyone in this country, if you have not done so, to YouTube the Stone Mountain, Georgia, July 4th with the NFAC, which stands for the Not Fucking Around Coalition. These brothers take it to a whole different level. If you don't know, Stone Mountain, Georgia is the birthplace of the Ku Klux
Klan. Yeah.
And these gentlemen confronted it head on. Straight up, no chases.
Were they marching? Is that the one they were all in black and they were marching?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, Shelley.
I did see an excerpt of that then. Yes, I did.
Okay. So yeah. But I just want to tell you that Daryl Barnes was saying that when he had an opportunity to watch that, he said, I felt like we were finally starting to confront racism on our terms as a nation of Black people. So that's why I was asking if you guys had a chance to take a look at that based on the comment from Daryl. Thank you so much. What are your thoughts for those of you who may have seen some of the footage or actually had an opportunity to view the march?
I saw a little bit, an excerpt of it. I didn't, and it's on Facebook. It was a small part of it, but I thought it was very powerful. And it was so funny how wasn't nobody fighting. Wasn't nobody trying to get in nobody's face.
Oh, yeah.
The part that I saw. So I think that is the issue. And okay, here I go with my theories. I think that there is a conspiracy to place fear in us.
Yes.
So we don't react.
Absolutely.
When we are not fearful and we become powerful, they do all they can to strip away the power that we do have. For example, Michael Jackson. I feel like that was, they placed that man in the place that he was. They put him to death because he was getting too powerful. He bought, and I don't know how to say it correctly, but all of the Beatles archives. He was the only person that had the rights to the Beatles music and their archived music. And once he bought that,
Shelley, I gotta interject. Now you remember, that was when Mike did that song with Paul McCartney, The Girl Is Mine. Paul McCartney was just talking like lollygagging with the fat man, talking about he was gonna try to get his money together to buy the rights to his own shit. He didn't know Michael was a stone cold gangster and a smooth criminal. He didn't know that. And then Michael was like, in the cut, left that meeting, called his attorney, and boom, shakalaka, finish your story.
So thank you, Jackie, for that part. So what I'm trying to say is, it seems like every time we do realize that we do have the power, or we get that power, something comes into play to interfere with that. So all of a sudden, these allegations of child molestation, all of a sudden we saw Michael go down from that point forward.
Right.
I'm even fearful for Jay-Z at this point, because
at some point,
he's got a lot of power.
And that's what they do. They assassinate the character or assassinate the person.
Right.
When it comes into play like that. And also on the subject y'all was on earlier with the industry and these companies, these talk shows, they have people that they send into these, just like they did with Bill Cosby, women they're not coming to act, they're coming to set you up.
Right.
For future references.
Right.
So when you want to start taking care of your black people and be powerful, they're going to bring this out the woodworks and bring this out. So we have to be careful and understand all these parties not good to go to.
Right.
You know, all these, you know.
So that was my point, Charlie. So, you know, this whole Michael Jackson thing is a really sensitive subject. But Michael had the kids at his house. So there's assassination of character. And then there's things that you do that you should not do that can contribute to that, because you know how America is with the black powerful man or black powerful woman. So Bill, you shouldn't have been letting women go in the women's room or letting them come in the room at 10 in the morning. Michael, you shouldn't have been having kids at the house doing those things, because they are going to look at everything that you do. And as soon as you're out of line, they're going to broadcast it. So we have some self-responsibility too. We can't just keep on saying that this is what they do to the black man. Sometimes the black man,
but back to the point of what, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sometimes we contribute a lot of stuff. We do a lot of stuff to ourselves.
But I agree, Tanya. I really do agree with you totally. But back to what Mr. Charlie said, a lot of times this stuff is decoys. They set this shit up for you to fall for it. It's not just, I mean, you have to be smart.
But Shelley, just like when Jordan first went to college at SC, the first thing they told him is, do not F around with some of these women. You get in certain professions and you know there's decoys out there. It's not like you're going in with your eyes. People are telling you this stuff, and you make a decision not to listen, or you make a decision to feel like you cannot be touched, or you make a decision for whatever it is, and then that's how the game
or
starts.
Tanya, you decide that they are truly your friends. And I think
and they're not.
With Bill Cosby is I'll never forget our mother's dead and gone. She was at a conference in San Francisco, and Bill Cosby and Sidney Poitier were there filming Let's Do It Again, right? And she was there with the PTA group, and there was a group of African-American women who wanted Bill Cosby's signature. And he told those women, I don't have time for you. And he walked down the hall, and there was a group of white women, of which he stopped and gave every single white woman his signature. Where Sidney Poitier came to the black women first, signed all of their autographs, and then when he got tired, there was only a portion of the white group that he still was willing to sign. Bill Cosby, on every platform he could stand on, he yelled, the black man just needs to pull himself up by the bootstraps, you know? We don't go to college because we don't want to do that. So Bill thought he could do the partying at the Playboy Mansion the same as Hugh Hefner. He thought he could give women Quaaludes and have a good time with them the same as Hugh Hefner. Because he thought he was just like Hugh Hefner. And it's just like Mr. Charlie says, no, you're not.
You're not. And they make you believe that. They make you believe.
They will allow you to do all of this stuff and just pick, just like they adding it to your tab. Just
They encourage that. But when do we wake up and say that that's not a good look for me?
Well, this, you know, also they didn't have a problem with Bill until he started doing a lot of stuff for blacks more. And so wanting to buy, well, I think it was NBC, one of them things he was trying to buy. Yeah. So yeah, basically when you start, like Prince was another person he told people that he helped, not to mention that he helped
them, right?
Because that words, and even if they can't get the white person, they're going to use a black person to come into their and to come in and assassinate you.
Exactly.
So in one way, we can watch what we do much as we want to, but they'll send your brother, they'll send your mother. They're going to come in any shape or form to bring you down.
Exactly. That was my point.
But I think part of that personality is that person's personality is that they think they're invincible. Don't you agree? So you have to know, no matter how high you rise, that you still black, and they're not going to let you.
Well, the devil seeks to destroy and conquer. That is his job. He comes to seek and devour. So you have to be cautious about what's going on in your environment, and you have to be self-aware, and you have to know what you will and will not go for. You gotta stand on some principles that shore you up so you don't get caught up in the game. You gotta go, out in the world with some principles. You need to know what you will not do, what someone cannot get you to do.
Mm-hmm. And that person can look like your best friend. That person can look, they will try to buy out your
They will try you. That's right.
Person that you thought may have been the closest to you. Hello, Ray Charles. Did you guys watch his movie?
Yes.
Some of the people that were the closest and came up with him. Years later, he has had to let them go.
Yep.
Girl, you gotta let that shit go. We've seen it in the radio game, Sheli C. Just keep it 100. Exactly. We done seen it. We done lost a lot of friends. I done seen them come and go, as the great Dr. Dre would say, but I'm gonna keep it moving smooth, but it's a cold game.
It's a
you know, Mr. Charlie, you already know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know.
They know you're on guard, so they're gonna try to get the person closest to you, even the person that you grew up with.
Right.
I had to tell a fan not too long ago, he got caught up. Go ahead, Nana.
You grew up with, you could have went to kindergarten and grade school with. You look up, and they part of the game.
They part of the game. I'm just tell y'all this. I just had a player come and get at me just two days ago, and I had to tell him, I had to tell him straight up, don't allow Satan to use you as a pawn. Now, this is somebody I've known pretty much since I've been on the planet. But like I said, this radio game is so cold. He can't. Well, I know all the players, but they use him. But I love him enough because I've known him since I was a child, and he's my senior by several years. Again, I just had to call a spade, and Jackie Fisher, if the word tells us, you got to call Satan out because then he must flee. When you call him out, he got to go. So I told him, do not allow Satan to use you as a pawn, because right now you're being used.
And just continue to remember, as Chris said, prayer changes things. Keep yourself covered in prayer because you need it. First thing you wake up, say, thank you, Lord, for letting me see another day, and take it from there. And he'll walk with you guys. You're doing a beautiful job. Continue to bring these things. You youngsters need to talk about these things. Very important. We need to make our children aware, because we have some smart youngsters.
That's Miss Jacqueline Fisher. That you're hearing speak right now, Mr. Tapper. Miss Jacqueline Fisher.
That's family member of yours?
Yeah.
That's my mother-in-law, Gerald.
Yeah.
That's my mother-in-law and Chris's mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Oh, Miss Fisher, it's a pleasure listening to you. You're very inspiring.
Yeah, love
it. Hey, I can only say that I let God lead me wherever he wants me to go. And that's the best decision I ever made. If with God on your side, you can't go wrong. He'll lead you. God is love, and I love each one of you. You know, I know you girls. You my girl.
We love you too, little Nana.
And I love them, all them babies is mine.
Yes, Nana. But look at
No, I was going to tell Miss Fisher, I could sit and talk to her for hours. She would hate me.
Wisdom. It's called Wisdom Tap.
Wisdom.
A lot of wisdom.
Anytime you come to Long Beach, California, young man, you can come to my door, and I open my door, and you can come on in.
After the cold,
you don't know who you asking. You really don't know who you asking.
That's the real. That's the real. Lori will tell you I'm for real.
Yes. Real deal Holyfield, little Jackie Fisher. Thank you so much. I got a question for y'all guys. We had a great time tonight here on the Poetry of Justice show on yikesradio.com. Guys, we've got about 10 minutes before the hour. And you know, today was Sheli C's birthday, Miss Sheli C.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Our friendship with Lori, Sheli C, Tanya, Michelle, this crew, it spans over 30 years. Well over 30 years at this juncture. So we've had some exciting times. But guys, I promised our listeners and I promised some people in Facebook world and Messenger that we were going to do a little bit of movie trivia tonight, guys. And so Sheli shared. I just want to leave us on a cool, fun note, guys. We hit some really heavy, hard stuff, and you know how we do it here on the Poetry of Justice show, and we're going to continue to bring you all the intense topics. But in the interest of time, Sheli C's 3 of her favorite movies are, if you guys remember, The Best Man, that was like with Taye Diggs, Nia Long. Those are, I know, the 2 heavy hitters off the top.
The first one.
We also had Girls Trip, which is Jada Pinkett, Queen Latifah, Regina Hall, and then who else am I missing, Sheli?
Tiffany Haddish.
Tiffany Haddish.
Tiffany Haddish, forgive me, everyone. And then thirdly is The Temptations. So I've got a question to the panel regarding The Best Man. We can see how far we go, everybody. In the movie The Best Man, was it wrong for Harper to have slept with Mia, considering all of the indiscretions from Lance? Don't all speak at once. Tanya, unmute your mic. I don't understand. Why did you? I'm going to repeat. Go ahead.
Was it wrong for Nia to do what?
Was it wrong for Harper, i.e. Taye Diggs' character, to have slept with Mia, considering all of the indiscretions from Lance, i.e. Morris Chestnut? So you know he had all the different women and this, that, and the third. So was it wrong in the grand scheme of things because Lance was a serial cheater? Was it really that big of a deal that Harper and Mia slept together?
Yes, it was a big of a deal. Yes, they were friends. Hello. Who does that? This is their friend.
No, we're talking about the wife. Remember, he slept with the wife.
Right, but the wife, Mia and Lance and Taye Diggs were all friends in college together.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking Mia Long. You're saying Mia, the wife. Okay.
Mia, the wife. Yeah.
But Mia and Hart knew each other first, and they were best friends. And he regretted introducing Mia to Lance because he knew Lance was a cheater.
But what does that have to do with the fact that you know Mia and Lance have a relationship?
I don't think he thought they were going to get married.
What?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Meg said it was wrong. She said, yes, it was totally wrong for Harper to have slept with that woman. She said, because that was his homeboy. You know what I mean? How the hell you go to
Hello?
What?
But the homeboy was messing, he was dipping and dabbing everywhere.
He was getting the good stuff.
He was still dipping and dabbing everywhere. So how could that be wrong? I didn't know you was gonna marry her. Like what? I mean, like
broke out.
I am.
You know, I just got finished watching it. By the way, if you guys want to watch it, it's on. I just got finished watching The Best Man Holiday too. I'm really into more.
I love you, Meg. Have a good night.
So, but the thing about it is I think it is wrong. But I think that, you know, here I go. But I think that he's not the one to be Lance's karma. And I think he felt some type, it was wrong, but I think he felt some type of obligation to her because he was first.
Well, it was wrong for him to write about it.
Did he break the bro code? Did he break the bro code?
Yeah, he shouldn't have said nothing.
Well, we need to ask Mr. Charlie and Gerald. Did he break the bro code?
Right, Gerald.
Don't ask Gerald, please. Don't ask Gerald.
No. You know what? Tanya's right. Don't ask me. Don't ask me. I ain't ready. I'm not ready yet. You know what I mean? I'm still, I'm a little fragile. So y'all go ahead. that.
But he broke the bro code, not really knowing that he broke the bro code, because he was dipping and dapping everywhere. Come on now.
Sheli C, that's ridiculous. Mr. Charlie, did he break the bro code?
I would say yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
You say yeah, Mr. Charlie.
Rashid agrees.
Charlie,
Tab, you gotta weigh in. Did he break the bro code?
Don't
You know,
repeat.
you know what? I'm sorry. I saw the movie, but I don't remember it in detail like that. But Mars he was a player, right?
Yes.
You know,
he was a player.
You know what, ladies? When you have someone and you break and you do things, it's really just a man thing, okay? It has nothing to do with you personally. It's a man thing. Okay? That's it. Okay, it has nothing to do with you personally. It has nothing to do with the other woman, and you know you're doing something wrong, and you do things in life that ain't right sometimes. But you know, sometimes you feel guilty about it, sometimes you don't. It's just that, you know, people make mistakes in life. And when sometimes if it ain't a mistake, then you got a little problem there. If you're doing things that you know you ain't supposed to be doing, and then you ain't even calling it a mistake, you got issues.
Mr. Charlie, I got a question for you. Now, if you got a homeboy, you know he dip and dab, he here and there, 5 or 6, 7 to 8. Saturday night is somebody different. Sunday night, he an athlete, whatever the case may be. And you know you with your homegirl, but you and your homegirl get into a situation. What would you do?
Entanglement.
Say it again.
Entanglement, y'all.
It blanked out.
Not knowing that he's gonna marry a girl.
Charlie, they love this issue, man.
Hold on, wait. I'm trying to get the question good. What was the question again?
Okay, Mr. Charlie, if you have a homeboy, you know he dip and dab and do this and that. Saturday night, somebody different. Sunday night is different. Maybe on Wednesday, it's your homegirl. And you and your homegirl's cool and you introduce them. But then you know he out there doing his thing. And you and her get into a situation where you may become a little close. Would you dip and dab? Or would you just be like, I can't? That's the bro code.
I done been in that situation.
What did you do?
Yikes radio.
No, but it depends on what's the relationship like I got with the girl, what's the relationship I got with the guy. You know,
the guy is your best friend. Your best friend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But some best friends share women, you know, and it's no big thing.
I told you, Sheli. I told you.
So it depends on, you know, it depends on the relationship.
Let me say no.
Hey, listen.
I'm saying no way.
You know what?
I got some friends that I won't share their girl. You know, we won't do nothing like that. There's some people.
Sweet.
You know,
don't share.
that was long.
It was long ago.
I have something to add to this. So, true story. My assistant and her current husband and her ex-husband all grew up together from when they were 12, 13, 14. She ended up marrying one of them who treated her really, really bad. In the midst of her being treated bad, the friend, who was a friend of all those, saw that, and after she had kids, would come over and help because he knew that his best friend was running the streets, treating her bad. She divorced her husband and married the other guy, and they've been married for 25 years. Sometimes shit happens. I mean, I think sometimes we want to be in this perfect world, like, oh, that shouldn't happen and all this type of stuff. Well, that's not life. And sometimes you can't control who you're attached to, or you can't control what happened. You may have regrets, or you may beat yourself with your own stick at times, but life happens.
Well, JackieRay, I think those are our last words. Tanya says life happens.
Life happens.
You guys hear the poetry justice show.
But I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying it just does.
Shit happens.
Shit does happen. Meg says it happens all the time.
I'm gonna let you know something that happened, guys. I'm gonna let you know what happens. I got a confession to make.
No confessions. No confessions.
No. Listen to me.
Recorded. It's being recorded.
I had last week. I had discovered something.
Lori.
I had discovered something with the show, and then I felt a certain way about it, and I talked to some people, and I was a little upset. Right. That was my first reaction. So then I talked to people I confide in. And after talking to Mr. Charlie and telling him the whole situation, that's my man. He's a dude, because when it's the heart, I kind of stay away from the. I got to talk to the fellas. So I talked to Charlie, and he said, "Man, you tripping." And I wanted to say, listen, I kind of, I want to say I'm sorry to y'all, because I kind of got mad at y'all last week. And I shouldn't have. And I felt that way on my own, but it was an awkward situation because I had brought it all up.
Thank you.
Huh? You know, okay, guys? You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Why are you mad at us?
Well, number one, we got to start with, that was not the POJ show. You were on a different show, right?
Oh, wow.
You was on Tuesday Night Live with Jackie and G.
You were on the JackieRay and G Lou show.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, well, G Lou, Jackie, everybody, I just was a little chump, kind of chumpish. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have been like that. You know, I should have manned up. It wasn't that serious, and I knew it on my own, but I still was shocked by people from you guys. I was shocked a little, even though you weren't even involved, Sheli. I think your phone calls. I was paranoid.
I was trying to get in there, but I couldn't get in there. Y'all was lucky.
Lori,
Lori G had the mic. She had our back. She had the mic. Lori G had our back.
Is Jackie doing sign language?
Well, I want to know what
Jackie tells me. Jackie tells me she loves me every day.
I'm sorry, Mr. Charlie. I'm back there. I had to sign on Facebook.
Okay.
Well,
I'm back. Sorry, guys.
You know, I was mad. I was mad at Jackie too. Jackie, I ain't mad at you no more, but Jackie.
I thought you was giving me a pass because we spoke specifically about the trauma. Remember, I shared about my trauma. So I thought that
Jackie, I love Jackie, but she ain't even called me. So I said, you know, Jackie just want to let it, because you ain't realizing, you know, when I saw you laughing, Jack, I was hurt.
I called the consigliere in the big boss woman, i.e. Lori G, said, Jack, just let it ride. I'm working with Gerald, and he and I are working together.
And yes, she was.
If I need you to intercede, I shall.
Give me a minute. So that this will not be, Gerald, so this will not be a mystery to everyone. This is what happened, okay? Jackie and another radio personality called G Lou, they have a show that airs on Tuesday nights. It's JackieRay and G Lou Live, right?
Tuesday Night Live.
Tuesday Night Live. I was a guest, supposed to just make a surprise appearance, which ended up being the whole show. Gerald was a guest, and he was there for the whole show. Well, the question came on the table about being bruised or broken, right? That was the context of the conversation. And we on the POJ show, we've done segments on bruised and broken.
Right.
Well, Gerald began to talk about his opinions on being bruised and broken, which took us through the show for about an hour and 40 minutes, his discussion. So he had to leave the show, and it's not my show, but the person on the show began to read the comments in the chat and what the people in the chat were saying about Gerald's profession, right? His feelings deep inside. I apologized profusely. I said nothing, but I did laugh at the jokes that artist was making. Again, this is not my show, but you guys have seen people play the dozens, right? You know how you say a joke about somebody and you say a joke about another person and they joke back?
I do it.
Well, that's what G. Lou was doing. He was making jokes. My sister and I laughed, and it was at Gerald's expense. And in hindsight, I apologize for 2 hours and 15 minutes. It was for 2 hours and 15 minutes that I said, I am so sorry that I did not stand up and say, please don't use my friend as the butt of your jokes. Now, as we all know, radio and television is entertainment. It don't necessarily have a strong thread of actual truth that runs throughout. So I've made my confession live on Facebook, recorded on Zoom. Again,
going to
my
YouTube.
brother, I apologize.
I apologize. I'm so sorry.
And that's why I'm saying we're all laughing about it.
Listen, Charlie, you a cold piece. You up here laughing, like, what's up? Mr. Charlie, shut up.
Hey, Charlie.
See, Charlie, are you mad at Charlie? Are you mad at
Exactly.
Hey, but this the thing. Hey, this the funny thing. We laugh at each other all the time. So that's how I was like, man, you true. These the same jokes we do on each other. But I told Tap it's just because you wasn't there. Like if you was there, you would have laughed too. You know, like I believe if Tap was there, you would have laughed too.
Yeah. When I came back, but sometimes I would wonder, I would think about the things I say, and I wonder if I was receiving, I was being received. Oh, I found out how I was being received all right. You know what I mean? I found out how I was being received.
Again, Tap has decided to air our dirty laundry here in the
because I love all y'all, and we don't have nothing. And that shit, I just wanted to do this because this is the Poetry of Justice show where I didn't know. I think Jackie downgraded me. I'm not Big Tap no more. I'm Gerald. You know what I mean? She downgraded me.
Will always
but anyway,
be Big Tap.
Listen to me. I felt bad that I felt bad that I felt bad. I felt bad that I felt bad. So I just wanted to clear the air.
Well, and I'm glad you did. And I want to again publicly apologize for laughing.
See, she ain't got to apologize. Listen, I told her, she said 2 hours she apologized. And for an hour and a half, I told her, you don't have to apologize. So there you go.
There we go.
Happy birthday, Sheli. Happy birthday, Sheli.
Birthday, Sheli.
I love you.
We love you, Sheli C.
Thank you.